Hey, what's going on? It's me, Greg Marshall with Fiture Marketing. And today I want to talk to you about empathy marketing and the importance of empathy marketing. So, anytime I talk to business owners or leaders or marketers, right, when they think about marketing, what they typically think about is the very basics, right? They think about like demographics of, male, female, 35 to 45 years old. They work at this job, they work at that job. They have this many kids, right? Just kind of like the general overall, statistics of people, of who they are, right? Which really doesn't give you any information, because what you really want to do, if you want to make your marketing more powerful, okay, you want to be focusing on empathy marketing. And let me go ahead and explain to you how in depth you need to be in order to get quality results from your marketing. So here's what you don't want to do. Just think about only their age, demo, where they live, things like that, and then copy a competitor, right? A platitude, if you will. Like, I've heard in some mastermind groups that I'm a part of, anytime that you have a platitude and you sound just like anyone else, you can plug in your competitor's name and it sounds the same, that's a bad sign. Instead, with empathy marketing, what you really want to focus on is you want to focus on getting inside the customer's head. And let me tell you how in depth you got to do this. So you want to be thinking almost like an actor in a Hollywood movie. The best actors kind of think they're the actual character in the movie. That's how in depth they get to it. So they study, like, what does this person think? How do they dress? What are their mannerisms? Why do they do what they do? And they really try to get themselves to become the actual character. That's what you want to do when you're doing empathy marketing, but for your customer. So here's a couple of exercises that I recommend. The first thing is figure out what exactly do they read, right? What do they read? Second thing, where do they hang out? Third thing, what types of people do they look up to? Fourth thing, why do they look up to that? Fifth thing, what are the core values of this individual? Sixth thing, what keeps them up at night? What makes them nervous, anxious, scared? Seventh, why does it even matter to them, right? So think of some of the things that they go through on a day-to-day basis, and then put yourself in their shoes and start going through these drills and go in depth. So, for example, when you think about how someone feels about something, usually we're talking to a 5-year-old trapped in an adult's body. Most adults, doesn't matter what title they have, are operating from who they were when they're 5, 6, 8, 10 years old, from experiences that they have had that causes them to have certain triggers that makes them do certain things. For example, if you're talking to a business professional and you know that they have a perfectionist mindset, if you have an offer that tells them that they have to essentially admit that either they're wrong, they're broken, or something, there's something inherently wrong with them, they're not going to respond to your offer, because what you're having them do is admit something that they're trying to run away from, right? And so when you're thinking about empathy marketing, you have to think about, well, that perfectionist is a perfectionist because when they were younger, their parents told them they weren't good enough, or their friends made fun of them while they're at school, or they got bullied. And so they have this persona that they have built. And so when you're talking to the 5-year-old trapped in the adult's body, you almost have to communicate in a way that allows them to know you understand without embarrassing them. Does that make sense? So when you're focused on empathy marketing, you're really trying to get deep. You're thinking about, what was their childhood like, right? What are the words or phrases that they want to avoid hearing? What are some of the reasons why they believe? They might be the most attractive, charismatic person you've ever seen, but they may believe that they are the exact opposite. And so you have to actually think deeper than just surface level of like, yeah, I want this because I want to get in shape, or yeah, I just want to make more money. There's a deeper reason for why someone wants to get the goals that they want. And most importantly, you have to be able to know how to approach them or communicate to them in a way that makes them feel safe, valued, and that you have the answer to their problem. Because most marketing is taught of like, what are their pain points, talk about their pain points, and then try to get them to act or trigger that, right? But something that I don't think is really communicated is, what state of mind is this person in? What kind of shell have they built? And what do you need to communicate in order for them to actually feel safe, that they can move forward with your offer? Yes, that seems almost like we're going way too in depth and we're getting too deep into psychology, but I disagree. I think the way to get people to act on your marketing messages, on your sales offers, to get them to move, to really move, you have to focus on meeting them where they're at. And you have to focus on making sure that you're not making them scared or triggered to take the actual action that you want them to take. So my homework assignment to you, if you choose to take it, is overview all of your marketing and think about the customer and empathy marketing on a deeper level, on a level of understanding why this person is the way they are, and then speak to that 5-year-old like you're trying to console them and show them that everything is safe, everything's going to be okay. And then go ahead and start writing out your messaging, design your websites, your social media posts, your clips, and watch how suddenly your marketing messages resonate a whole lot better. You get a lot more responses, and it's not as hard. In fact, creating marketing in this way for your customers is a whole lot easier, because what you're doing is you're dialing in who you're trying to go after, and you're speaking to that one person, and you want to think about everything. What do they value in relationships and family and career? Success. What do they think late at night? What are the beliefs that their parents gave them when they were younger, right? What are the beliefs that their spouses give them? You want to go that in depth to make stronger marketing messages. And if you do that, you will have much greater success on your marketing campaigns, because anytime you're selling or marketing anything, it's all about emotion, right? You got to help them justify with logic, but at the end of the day, it's all about emotion, and they have to feel a certain emotion, but you have to know what emotion they need to feel. That's our homework as marketers and salespeople, is we need to actually know what emotions they should feel, and then how should we communicate to that emotion so that we can get the best results. If you ever need help with this, visit our website, fituremarketing.com. Once again, I'm Greg Marshall. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or thoughts about what I've said, go ahead and just leave them below, and we'll talk to you guys later.